Hello, I'm Keith Buswell. I'm a senior solutions engineer with Exaforce, and I've recently been playing around with some different apps to just kind of test my hand at vibe coding a little bit. I've been playing around with like Cursor and Windsurf, and actually most recently I've been using Replit to just kind of make me full blown apps just by kind of typing out some different scenarios that I thought would be really helpful as a solution engineer to just kind of recreate documentation where I can just kind of plug in, maybe different things inside of there and I'll kind of rinse and repeat, but just kind of different apps that, seem to be really helpful. And, I had somebody recently tell me that, basically being able to develop and code shouldn't be essentially the barrier to go make an app or something like that, because it's like, hey, people have good ideas, but not necessarily have the skill set to go write the code and develop the app. And, I found that to be true for myself, not necessarily my background, but I did have apps and I had what I thought was a good idea to go do some things. And I've now been able to go make those apps. And so I've recently been kind of thinking about just in the lens of cybersecurity, why can't we maybe apply that exact same logic to threat hunting? And so what I'm not saying is, go get rid of all of your threat hunters. There is some fabulously smart people on threat hunting teams, and they have really good hypothesis and just skills and backgrounds, within this space and very, very valuable to the market. But what I am saying is that maybe we can lower the barrier to entry a little bit, and people have some really good ideas for things to maybe go look for. But maybe we've always been kind of limited by the query language. It's like, hey, I don't know maybe this sim vendor's query language very well, so it's like I don't even really know how to conduct this hunt for example. So what I wanted to do was just kind of go take a stab inside of here and maybe do something kind of like vibe hunting inside of Exaforce and go see what maybe we can uncover by just kind of like, hey, feeling it out a little bit and, kind of describing a scenario that I might want to know about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to our Exabot search. And it's going to launch my prompt over here. And to just kind of save you some time of watching me probably misspell a whole bunch of words, I was thinking about this a little bit. And just with the recent explosion of just, basically using, matter of fact, myself, using AI coding tools like Codex and Cursor and, things like that, for example, I wanted to get some insight into our environment, see who's using those tools, but not necessarily just general day-to-day usage, but kind of taking a look at like, hey, maybe who's using it in a risky way. And so I'm looking for things like, like permission bypasses and things like that, where it says like, hey, yeah, just gonna go keep executing all your future steps and don't even ask me for permission type of stuff. And then also like maybe we're seeing it execute like shell commands or things like that. And I just kind of wanted to get an idea what's going on inside of the environment. So I put this together. Let's go take a look at this here. So basically I just said, hey, I want to go search the environment past 7 days. I'm looking for things like AI codex, and kind of similar type of tools, but also just looking really specifically where we're seeing permission bypass type of stuff. And then also seeing where we're launching things like PowerShell or shell commands. And for example, and then also just kind of said, just for the grins of it, I was just like, hey, maybe go create me like an HTML file that I can just go, maybe turn this thing into a report of something kind of compelling looking inside of here, just because. So essentially, yeah, I was just kind of thinking about this of like what I would want to know about my environment, kind of typed it out inside of here. Matter of fact, I was just like, hey, let's go slap like a report together as well. And so I'm going to go run this. And and actually, okay, this is cool. So you can see it breaking down my query inside of here and understanding what it's looking for. And the system was also aware of like, hey, the best chance of me finding this type of information is actually probably going querying our EDR logs. And so in this scenario, we actually have CrowdStrike and we have Sentinel One running inside of this environment. And it understood, it was like, hey, well, I have both of these. So I'm going to go kind of create CQL queries that I'm going to go run against Next-Gen SIEM inside of CrowdStrike. And additionally, we have deep visibility queries that we're going to go execute inside of Sentinel One. And there's any other relevant information inside the environment. It'll leverage those as well. So what I'm going to do here really quick, because I'm going to let this just kind of bake for a second, and we're going to go see what type of output we get. Okay, we're all done here. So yeah, we kind of scrolling through here, we can see the Sentinel-1 investigations that it was doing. Several different agents. Matter of fact, here you can expand all of these, and you can see all the different kind of sub questions it's asking. It's like, hey, I'm going to go run deep visibility queries across the last 7 days. You actually, matter of fact, even kind of pulling back the data inside of here. So if you really wanted to go dive into those, Scrolling through here. Okay, great. We have an executive summary, and all right. So across the environment, about over 600 different events. Okay, so we do have some dangerous C-skip permission flags enabled inside of here, and spawning some unrestricted shell processes. So Bash, Python, for example. Okay, so here we go. Permissions bypassed, flag detected, and then also some additional automated permission acceptance, it looks like here as well. So as I scroll down, okay, so we have Jacob's MacBook on over here, and this is looks like where we're seeing the dangerous permissions. We can see the version of tools that they're using inside of here. We got the username, how many events, and then we also have Shang inside of our environment. Look like just some automated permission acceptance being done inside of here. Not quite as high as priority as the top one there. Cool. So it's giving me a bit of breakdown of the endpoint, give me a breakdown of the user inside of here, and a little bit of a sample detailed analysis of what we kind of saw from the command line, child processes being spun out, the shell commands themselves and what's being executed. So pretty cool stuff here. I have no idea how I would have executed this query, to be honest. So it's really nice that I can just kind of think about what I'm looking for and let this kind of go conduct it for me. And not only that is that you're not just looking at like a raw table inside of here of just data. It's actually explaining what's going on inside of here as well. So super helpful, cool stuff. Giving me a little bit of a breakdown inside of here. This is nice. Giving me recommendations. You should go disable these permission bypass flags, and then a timeline of activity. Okay, actually, so here's the HTML. I probably could have done without this, but let's go ahead and let's just grab all this. So I'm gonna go and just start grabbing all of this HTML here. I'm actually really interested in what this is going to look like and what it thinks this report looks like inside of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. We'll copy this. Maybe go drag this into a notepad really quick. I'm going to paste it over here. Let me show you really quick. Here we go. So I just dropped it in a Sublime text editor here, and I'm going to go save that really quick as just an HTML file. Okay. So we got that saved. All right, so I've just got my untitled. Let's just go open this really quick and take a look. Okay, so here's what it generated. So yeah, there was over 1,000 different events that it totally saw. There was a few different users. So we saw Jacob, we saw Shang. We see all the different risk profiles inside of here. Actually, so really cool. So just kind of really easy to come inside of here, just kind of think about what you're creating inside of here. Matter of fact, I might want to say, can you create a case from this? So just basically maybe tie this into case management, extract my IOCs inside of here, and essentially I want to kind of elevate this up. This is something I want to go reach out to those users and maybe conduct some additional workflows inside of here. So I'm just going to simply go tell it to create a case. It says it's going to go extract related IOCs, entities, do some good stuff here, and here's the case details. Perfect. Yeah, this looks great. It's showing me all the different operations inside of there, showing me all the different tags, the processes, related IOCs. Yeah, this is absolutely great. So let's just say it's asking me if I like kind of the way the case is being displayed there. So I'm just going to say yes, looks great. And then okay, so yeah, it's going to go create a case that looks like for us now here. I'm just going to let this run just for a second here. I want to interact with this case as soon as it's done. There we go. So immediate action results, we got that. We have our detection sources. So this is all of the case details. We can see the title. So perfect. This is going to be great where now I have basically everything I did inside of here going to go into our case management tool, something that I can add more evidence to, and I can start reaching out to users and just kind of get some different answers and kind of follow up with this. So I hope you found this informative. Definitely hit up exaforce.com and schedule a demo if you kind of want to learn more about this type of stuff. And thank you for watching.